Hello, hello, hello! I'm Ted Crow, and I am the Barefoot Craftsman. The Barefoot Craftsman. My stuff.
Hi, I'm Sophia Crow. I'm the Barefoot Craftsman's wife.
So we're back after a long hiatus.
By the way, this bed was built by the Barefoot Craftsman. He built the entire thing. It's super awesome and one of my favorite places to be in the house.
Things are still working here. They actually are. The bar stools are under construction. My wife is back giving us her take on how language is supposed to be, although she seems to have developed a potty mouth.
What the hell ever?
Yes, she's cursing a lot.
Don't ask me.
For some reason. I have no idea why.
What the fuck?
But we'll go back out to the shop and see just exactly where we're at.
What the hell ever?
Back to the shop.
Okay, if you're wondering where I came up with 16 inches for these side pieces, what I did was I took
My husband is a thief.
and measured a
Thief! 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 Thief!
well, I didn't steal it from anyone, but I measured a chair that is here in the house and determined that the seat of the chair was approximately 16 inches from front to back. So knowing that, I know that that's a good place to start. So I got this piece that's 16 inches long. This is my back leg.
That is not his back leg. That is the back leg of the stool. The stool.
And I'm just going to lay that 16-inch piece there. And this will be the front leg.
Of the stool. The stool.
And I want that front leg to angle out a little bit. And I need my tape.
Tape. Sticky stuff you use in a variety of household situations. Tape measure what the Barefoot Craftsman has in his hand.
So I'm just going to turn this around. And I've got these lines in the concrete from when they poured the floor. And they're square enough for me to actually get an approximate idea of what I want to have go on here. So I measure up here.
Appellation measuring strikes again.
I'm going with 27.5 inches where I want the seat to be. So this piece right here needs to be down a little bit. I'm going to just guess and say like 26 inches to the top. 26 inches to the top. Here's my front leg.
That is not the Barefoot Craftsman's front leg. In fact, he doesn't even have front or back legs. He is not a mule.
Lay that on there.
Appellation measuring strikes again.
Again, measure here. What do I got?
You know, that makes me think.
6.
Have you ever,
Approximately 26.
gone through maybe an Appalachian part of the country and there's like sheds and stuff and maybe even houses and everything's crooked and it's leaning over and you know you can't really understand why.
That on there. And I've decided that I want the front leg.
Because in other parts of the country, you know, houses seem to stand up straight.
To be 20 inches to the
So I just wanted to share more about Appalachian measuring and what it can do
20 inches from the back to the front.
to your project.
So, I need to move this in a little, like that. Get myself measured here somewhat close to what it needs to be. Doesn't need to be perfect.
To your project.
This needs to be close. So there's 20 inches or thereabouts, and I'm just gonna sketch a line across there. So now I know what the angle is on this leg to cut it. That when it's on there correctly, it will have the right angle at the bottom. And the top and the bottom will be the same. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that with an adjustable square. Basically, it adjusts.
Adjustable square, it basically adjusts. That might be like if you looked in the dictionary for a word, like say friend, and in the dictionary it said basically someone who is a friend.
Again, it doesn't need to be perfect because it's not a piece that has been already determined. We are determining it. So I'm going to need two pieces just like that. Alright, I'm over here at the table saw again.
Oh, fuck.
And I've got my adjustable square. Here's my angle that I need.
The table saw. The table saw.
Here's the piece of wood. What I want to do is I want to set my miter square that's on the table here to what this adjustable square is. That way I know that whatever cuts I make are aligned with this square.
Okay, sped up motion and the table saw is just wrong. I think he's actually doing it specifically to fuck with me, but note the lack of safety equipment.
Okay, now that I have one piece cut, I'm just looking at this other drop, the other drop that's left from the back leg that we cut, and looking at it for knots. And I'm just going to lay that piece on here that I cut that has the angles for the front legs and mark my next cut. And the reason I'm putting marks on here, you might ask, well, geez, why would you do that? Well, first of all, it determines my length. But second of all, what it does is it allows me to make sure that when I'm making my cut, again, when you make cuts, measure twice, cut once, that I'm cutting the angle at the right direction because I can see the line. Alright, back over here at the table saw.
Table saw.
And let's make the cuts. I'm going to start to shape the back legs here. I'm not going to leave them looking like a 2x4. I'm actually going to give them some unique shape. And I know right off the bat that I want the top of it rounded, and I've checked my wood for knots and stuff. And I found this bench cookie.
Did he just say bench cookie?
Find out that it pretty much makes a good round on the end here.
What the fuck?
So I'm just gonna put that on there and
Bench cookie?
scribe a line around there
Don't ask me.
so I know sort of what round is. I'm gonna do it for the two back legs and then both ends of the side pieces, the top side pieces that I cut. Okay, now that I've got them marked, I'm going to use my hand jigsaw.
Oh man, this is gonna suck. More power tools.
And do a rough cut around the end there. I will if I plug it in.
Sweet, no power.
Oh, that's better. We got some power now.
Oh, damn it. He figured it out.
Good enough.
Oh.
I'll do the rest of them. I cut off the ends here. I rounded the ends using my bench puck or bench cookie, whatever you got.
Yeah, what the hell is that red bench thing? I mean, where did it come from? What does it do? Clearly it's not a cookie. You can't eat it.
Because it was just about the right size to give me a circle or a semicircle here at the end of each piece of 2x4. So now that I got my ends cut off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the holes for where the bolts go through so this thing can fold. And I'm going to determine that just by kind of laying this on here and checking to see where the center of each piece is. Since this is 1.5 inches or 3.5 roughly across, then that means that the center of this is 1 3/4, and then I want it centered on this piece here too. So should be the same thing in 1 3/4. So that should be where the hole is. And then I'm going to drill the holes through these two side pieces for the bolts. So I got my piece of wood marked for where the holes are supposed to be, and I've got my sleeve here that well, it's called a spacer sleeve, that the bolt will fit through. Fits through that. And the type of bolt that I'm going to use is called a carriage bolt. A carriage bolt has a square neck on it. And the reason for that square neck is so that you can put it down into something that is sort of pliable, like a piece of wood, a piece of plastic, something like that. Or you can punch a square hole in a piece of metal. And what happens then is, since the head of this bolt does not have a hex on it or a Phillips tool mark in it so that you can put a Phillips head screw
Enunciate!
or Phillips head screwdriver down in it.
Oh, that's good. You're doing it.
What happens is that neck goes down in there, that square neck, and it stops the bolt from spinning. So I have a sleeve, I have a bolt, I want the bolt to ride in the sleeve.
So the bolt's going riding now? We're going to buy it a horse? No, we're Craftsman.
I have my piece of wood, and what I want to have happen here is I want to have the sleeve in here for the bolt to ride on, because that will maintain the integrity of the wood so that my ass doesn't break this stool.
To my knowledge, the Barefoot Craftsman's ass has yet to break a stool, unless we're referring to the very, very distant past in which he might have broken a stool in a bar fight over somebody's head while being absolutely, what the fuck, drunk. Yes, the Barefoot Craftsman has not always been the family man that you see today.
And what I need to do is I need to put this sleeve down in that wood. So I'm going to drill a hole that this sleeve will fit into. I have put a piece of painting masking tape, which is blue, on my drill bit so that I can tell how far down I've drilled with my drill bit, so that I only put a hole in this piece of wood that is the same diameter as this, as deep as I want this to go. And I only want it to go in till it is flush with the surface. So I'm going to drill these holes now. Okay, now that I have this hole drilled in, I will drill all the holes for this one side for this insert to fit into. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to use a drill bit that is the same size as the bolt itself, so that when I put the bolt through the hole, the square neck will actually press down into the wood and keep the bolt from turning. Okay, so now I've got a smaller hole on one side and a larger hole on the other. The larger hole for the sleeve insert and the smaller hole for the bolt. And you can see this insert in there and this smaller hole. Once I put that bolt down in there, you can see that the neck is going to press down into the wood.
Well, we're out of time. So come back and see us again as we continue work on the bar stool. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.